Go ahead, Ms. Eigner.
Sign physical custody of your son over to his ex, or you will be put away and will drug you until you do sign. These are the words of Ms. Cousino.
Ms.
On
Eigner,
October 6,
Ms. Eigner,
2008,
let's
excuse me.
keep your voice down,
excuse
please.
me. This is exactly what she did. Okay? Exactly
And please be
like
seated.
that. That
And
was
please
the
be
drama.
seated. Please be
Okay?
seated.
That's what she used at me. No less. That's what she did. Only she had sweat pouring off her all over for 4 hours while she interrogated me about my Catholic religion. Why? Because she wanted to fill her pockets. Nasty woman doing this to people. It's all about the money and not about the best interest of our children. Never was and never will be with you and many of the people like you. My name is Andrea Cota Eigner, and I'm from Cromwell, Connecticut, mother of a 13-year-old boy who I haven't seen barely in over 5 years. A year and a half has gone by, and because of her, Ms. Cousino, I have not seen my son in a year and a half. I'm a member of We the People and many other organizations that fight for the rights of families and our U.S. Constitution. I have not seen my son in over a year and a half, like I said, due to Sue Cousino's fraudulent acts, who has the nerve to sit here on the task force. We, the people of Connecticut, need to rid people like her of the family courts. She's a criminal. She's the ringleader of all deceptions and evil, greedy, routine play acts. That's you. I'm looking right at you. That's you. She's the devil in disguise, a statement of one of my family members uses often to describe her. Oh, yeah. I've been dragged through the Middletown court system, funded by the AFCC, a nationwide child trafficking group, since September 2008, when my son was legally kidnapped by his father, who no longer wanted to pay child support, and he had a very rich girlfriend who wanted to take my son, and the courts allowed it. Okay? So she could play mommy and he can get all his sailboats. And Sue Cousino allowed it, along with the other judges. You should be ashamed of yourself. Someday you will be. With the assistance, he used the assistance and abetting of court employees and other business people who are only interested in taking the money and assets from parents and children. To name a few: Susan Cousino, Judge Jared Adelman, both AFCC members, Judge Harry Kalmar, who did the ex parte on me because of my religion, Dr. Donald Hebel, known as the most evil doctor in the country, in the world. Amps.
Ms. Eigner, could you wrap up, please?
Dr. Black, who deceased a year ago from a sudden heart attack. He also trafficked our children and threw them into the hands of abusers, all of whom have been hired by Susan Cousino, who makes sure everyone gets paid while destroying our children. I'll never forget the most traumatic day on October 6, 2008, 5 years ago, when Susan Cousino interrogated me and threatened me for 4 hours in a small side courtroom.
Ms. Eigner, we have your written testimony from which you are reading.
I would like to finish.
Your time is up.
I would like to finish.
Ms. Eigner, your time is up. You were reading from your written testimony. We can read it. If you'd like to supplement something very briefly, you're welcome to do that, but we can read the written testimony.
You cut me off. Other people had time.
The time has been taken into consideration, so please wrap it up.
My son, I was sickened and worried over him. That's why I had to sign the physical custody. I needed to get to him to make sure he was okay. Another day in court, 2 men in suits got off the elevator near the coffee shop, one saying to the other, "If you give Sue Cousino 12 to 15,000, she'll do whatever you want." With Susan Cousino and Dornfield on this task force, we will not ever be able to get access to the billing records because they know that they'll be punished for the wicked money crimes. They need to be ordered to step down immediately. Their greed is unchanging. I have done auditing, along with many others, on bills forced upon parents. After talking to many parent victims regarding their experiences with Susan Cousineau, they revealed they are traumatized by her actions in the taking of their children and her overbilling them by 6 to 12 times the allotted hourly rate of $50 per hour, according to the Office of the Public Defender. I have a sample of my long bills here, proving her overbilling for exaggerated services in which she created to keep her money ring going. I also have an audit report here proving her greed and horrific stealings from victim families who she preys upon with her child trafficking and racketeering business. It's all about the money, not about the best interest of our children. And I have a few more details, but I'd like to present.
Sure, absolutely.
Yes.
Obviously, this is very emotional for you, and I'm sure it's
Very.
hard. And
Especially with her sitting on this task
Okay,
force. She
all
does
right,
not
all right.
belong here.
Okay. When you made mention about your ex-husband not wanting to pay child support anymore, and that's potentially why he used this whole Catholic religion thing against you, and he's starting maybe a new family with his girlfriend. Is that I'm hearing that a lot from some parents that
Starting with my children and his new
right.
family.
I hear that a lot.
For that.
I hear that a lot. So that sometimes is a motivation. Obviously, I don't know anything about your case, but tell me about this auditing thing that you're doing, and let me ask you one other thing. Has it ever come to your attention that anyone on this in GAL world feels like they will never go back 20 years and make the money they made then because they just won't do it? So in other words, if you have a GAL that's making $400 an hour, $300 an hour, and their attorney, is it your position that what's the incentive for them to go back? Because we're talking about caps here, and a lot of GALs do not want caps because they don't want to go back to what they made 20 years ago. So do you think that's
My position is we abolish family courts. We abolish the AFCC, which means no more GALs, no more judges. We bring this back to the churches where it belongs. And we have the people of the churches, the social workers, make the decisions along with the parents together. None of this judge makes this money. GAL tells everybody who's going to make what. Everyone's going to lose their houses. Everyone's going to lose everything. No more GALs. No more court system. Gone. And that's my next project.
Okay. Thank you. Any further questions from the members of the task force? Thank you, Ms. Eigner.
I have a book here, Minnie, the audit. Okay. I want to explain a few details, and I'd like to hand it to you.
Perhaps you could take it out in the hallway so we can go on to the next speaker, please.
Yeah.